We got that little HY35 out of there, boys. It's HX35 time. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on Pure Panorama. As you can see from the opening clip, we do have the HX35 on the 24 valve Cummins. So that was the surprise that I pinned in the comments of yesterday's video. I know I said I'd be doing it on Saturday morning and getting it done and over with then, but plans changed. I am gonna work Saturday morning, this morning when you're seeing this. So what we did was put it on the truck. My boss and I did it in an hour during our lunch break and just got it done and over with. So let's talk a little bit about what I've noticed so far with the HX35 on the Cummins. Now, I'm not gonna go into too much detail with what I see in the EGT gauge or the boost gauge because, like I said, I've only driven it for a little bit so far with this turbo on the truck, so I don't really have too much to go off of with that. I want to spend a little bit more time with the HX35 and just kind of get a feel for it and see what it does. But so far I can tell you that in certain situations, whether I'm just cruising on the flats and stuff, I can definitely be into the throttle a little bit more with the 125 horsepower injectors under the hood, and the EGT gauge rides a couple hundred degrees lower than it did with the HY35 turbo under the hood. As I start to get into grades and steeper hills, things like that, the EGT gauge obviously does climb up as it would with any turbo under the hood of your truck in bigger injectors. It does go up to 900, 1,000 degrees, but it holds steady there. Now that's the difference between this HX35 and the HY35. We already know, and I've said this a bunch of times in prior videos, that the HX35 has a larger exhaust housing and a larger compressor housing than the HY35 does. And I do have a photo of both of them next to each other after we got the HY35 out of the truck. So before we put the HX35 in, I set them both side by side. I took a picture of them and I'll show you guys that real quick. So right there you can see that the HX35 just has a larger looking compressor housing. So it just looks beefier. And that definitely helps with that airflow from the compressor wheel. I kind of want to just touch base on as far as like what my plans are now that the HX35 is on the Cummins truck. So I know that I told you guys that I want to get the HX35 machined out. We're going to send it to Turbo Lab of America, and I still plan to do that. But the thing is I want to kind of go through the paces and go in baby steps and show you guys. I want to go through experiments and the process here on the channel with you guys. So if you're looking to do mods on your truck, you can kind of get a feel for how different things are going to respond with the truck and just kind of what they're going to do depending on what mods you have done already or what you don't have done already. I look around on YouTube quite a bit and I see certain videos, yes, that kind of show some stuff, but it doesn't really go into depth and it doesn't show you like from beginning to end what happens or how things kind of respond with the truck and stuff if you do certain things and do them in certain orders. So a lot of guys, when they first get their truck, you know, they're looking to get a little bit more power out of it, and just, you know, they jump into the fuel boxes like the quad adrenalines, the edge comps and stuff, and they want to pump more fuel to it, and then they're looking to do more air and stuff. But let's face it, a lot of times people go for more fuel first and try to pinch a little bit more power out of the truck that way. So I don't know, I kind of want to go and just show you guys how it works on my truck and kind of go through the process with you so you can get an idea as far as what happens when you do XYZ to your truck. So far we have the 125 horsepower injectors in. We got to see how those work with an HY35 stock turbo on a 2000 to 2002 automatic 24 valve, and now we have the HX35, which comes on some of the older 12 valves, but also the 2000 to 2002 manual 24 valves. My HX35 is off of a 2000 to 2002 manual 24 valve, so it's a direct drop in. You can use the same oil feed fitting, everything. It all just drops right in, bolts right up, and you're good to go. So if you are looking to get a little bit more boost in your truck and drop those EGTs just a little bit and still run some more fuel, whether you have an edge comp, a fueling box, whatever it is, you have slightly larger injectors in the truck, but you don't have enough money to blow on a big single or something like that, then definitely get yourself an HX35, because it will help you a little bit. It will allow you to get into the throttle a little bit more and enjoy your truck without worrying about those EGTs spiking up so quickly. I have noticed with the HX35 on the truck, and this probably has something to do with the fact that it has a good fresh rebuild in it, so everything is spinning nice and freely. There's no restrictions in it and everything like the HY35 had, but this thing does spool up just as quick as the HY35 did. Even though it is slightly bigger, it's not that much bigger, so it does have still a good spool time. You can definitely feel it when it lights up. You can feel the truck pull and go, and from the little bit that I've driven it already just on the way home from work, you can definitely see a change in the EGT gauge not spiking up so quickly. So it's bought me a little bit more time to be into the throttle and not have to worry about that EGT gauge just jumping up to 1250, 1300 so fast. Even when I'm not into the throttle all that much and I'm just kind of cruising and the turbo is not really building any boost, you can just hear it whining and whining and whining. And then when I dump it a little bit and lay into it, it just starts screaming, man. It almost sounds like a big single under the hood of my truck, and it's not yet. So the next step for the 24 valve is obviously we're going to be looking to get the VP44 injection pump done so that we know our fueling game is strong and healthy, and we're going to be looking at cold air intakes and intake horns. So I need you guys to comment down below which one you would rather see first, an intake horn or a cold air intake to go with the HX35, but we are going to be looking to do both of those and the VP44 coming up here very soon, so that we can try and wrap up more of the air side of things and just try to better the airflow for this for the injectors under the hood, and keep adding that next puzzle piece to see how each of those steps is going to make a difference for the performance of the truck, how it makes a difference in the EGT gauge and how quick it rises up, how high it rises up, and things like that. And speaking of how high it rises up, I'm not opposed to using a Wicked Wheel 2 and pulling the HX35 back off of here, putting a Wicked Wheel 2 on it and getting a comparison of that, because like I said, some guys may not be able to go and splurge on a big single right away or have their HX35 machined out and built, but they may be able to pop off 250 bucks and get a Wicked Wheel 2 to gain a little bit faster spooling. The wheel's gonna spin faster. It is lighter than your stock cast wheel, and it will force more air through there and give you more airflow. So I'm not opposed to getting a Wicked Wheel 2 and popping it in there to kind of compare that to the stock HX35 also, and see how that makes a difference, as opposed to running the HX35 just stock with no modifications whatsoever. So maybe down the line a little bit, before we have work done on this HX35 or do something different with the turbo setup in general, like completely, maybe we can get a Wicked Wheel 2, pop that in there and experiment with that just a little bit. But that's not going to be until after we get the other air mods in the truck and just spend some time with the HX35 as it sits, play around with the diesel auto power, adjustable boost elbow, mess around with the boost levels a little bit, find out what works best for the Cummins as it sits, and as we add more air mods to it and things like that and do a couple other things, we'll keep tweaking it a little bit and just playing around and see what each step does for the truck. But that is it, man. That is gonna do it for this video. I just wanted to I guess pull one over on you a little bit, have you thinking that we were going to do the HX35 install first thing Saturday morning and make you think you would see that on Sunday, but I got it to you a day early. So for that, everybody needs to hit that like button and show this video some love. And guys, I hope you are as pumped as I am for having the HX35 on the truck. It's been a long time coming, and we finally get to live it and experience it, play around with it, and just see what it can do and put it through its paces in different scenarios, and get that information out to you guys here on the channel. So hit that thumbs up button before you leave. If you're stopping in for the first time, just found the channel, hit subscribe, because we're going to be doing more than this here on the channel and with the 24 valve Cummins, so you're not going to want to miss that. Become a part of the family, and I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, and real quick, if you follow me on Instagram at JoshuaRobert19, you probably already know about this video, because I did post that we are changing the turbo on there earlier, so whoever follows me on there got to see it first. So go follow me there at JoshuaRobert19, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Just look at her down there, man. Dude, she looks good. That is the nicest looking thing under the hood of this truck. We got some serious cleaning up to do now to make the rest of it match that. And really quick, I do want to say too that we are going to do a rebuild video on the HY35 now that it is off the truck, so I will get a rebuild kit for that. We will do a rebuild video and have it up on the channel so you guys can see that. If you aren't looking to do a different turbo, you're keeping your truck stock, your turbo needs a rebuild, and you have a 2000 to 02 automatic 24 valve and the HY35 turbo, you can look forward to a rebuild video on that coming down the line. I'm not sure when, but we will get to it and we will do that for you guys. I just wanna keep